again this had to go from I to J. Okay, we got it, but we got it the other way, right? Like we got the triangle, but it's just the opposite of what we wanted. So, why did this happen? Let's see. Okay. See, the problem was the stars for the first one. What I did was it is going from I to J, I to 5. So I was once we printed 5 stars in the first time, but we wanted only 1 star in the first line, right? Are you guys understanding what I'm saying? You just wanted 1 star, did not want 5 stars. So this should actually be one, and I'm gonna explain it. Just wait a second. Let me get the pattern and then I'll completely go over it once again. Oh, wait. That ended up being okay. That was a really fatal error. We got it an endless loop for some reason, and because this. Okay, so I'll start from the top. So uh, I hope you're understanding. We are working on this part. Did anybody new join, or it's only us? Okay, somebody is Naveen sir. Somebody joined right now. Okay, so we're working on this pattern, and what it is. These are 5 this way, and this is 5 this way. And in the first one, we want 4 spaces and 1 star. Then we want 3 spaces, 2 stars, 2 spaces, 3 stars, and then we want 1 space, and then we want 0 space. Okay, so what we are going for is the first for loop. What it gives you is the your rows. So it will go from 1 and it is less than equal to 5, and we do I plus plus. So we get that. And then for the spaces, we took a variable and we gave it the number 4, because the first time what we need is 4 spaces, and after that we need a star. Okay, and then we made a for loop which gave 4 spaces to us. So it was, it's s equals to 1 and 1 is less than equals to, no mistake is this, right? This for loop is for your spaces. This for loop is for creating the spaces. We wanted spaces horizontally, right? We wanted spaces horizontally, and for the first time we needed spaces 1 to 4, and the next time we needed 1 to 3, then we need 1 to 2, and then we need 0. Are you guys understanding why this loop is over here? And we did not write ln because we wanted spaces next to each other. And then we even close this loop because we want this to run, print the spaces, and then go inside this loop and then print the star. And after that we wanted to change the line, and once it has changed the line, we decreased space by 1, because the first time it printed 4 spaces, then it has to print 3 spaces, and then it has to print 2 spaces. Are you guys understanding this? Is like, who asked the question? Nagashri ma'am, are you understanding what is happening, or are you like not?
Yes, ma'am, understood.
No, like really, like I hope you really understand. Like I'll run it once and see, this was the pattern we needed. This is over here. I got this one wrong because instead of doing space minus minus, I did space plus plus. See, that's what it is. You have to think of the logic. You need to think what you want to print. Okay. Keep in mind, for loops, like the easiest way to understand how how you should write a loop to make certain thing work is first work it out on a paper and a pen. You know how for loop works, right? You give it these digits and you start doing it on a paper. You say, okay, first I is 1, it is less than yes, you can just write yes, and then you come in and do whatever the function is, and then you go back up, increase it by 1. So try thinking of it that way. Once you write code more and more, you would be easily be able to think it in your head. And for patterns, the first for loop, the outer for loop, is will give you the rows. The second for loop, which will be inside it, will give you the columns. Okay, remember that. And you made it equal to I over here because then again this is just the logical part. You could have taken another variable over here, gave it some value, increased or decreased it. That's all on you. We gave it the value of I because we see the number of stars was 1 and then was 2 and then was 3. So just think of the easiest way without taking extra memory. You can get these numbers. It was the first time it comes in, I gives you the value 1. The second time it runs, it gives you the value 2. Then it gives you 3. And that's exactly what we wanted. When I is 1, we want to print one number. When I is 2, we want to print 2 stars. When I is 3, we want to print 3 stars. So we just use the value of I and use it to print these stars. I know it is a bit confusing, but once you start writing them, once you start, open a pattern, open like the site I shared with you. If you want to learn it, open the solution. I think the solution is not over. Find the solution to this, right? Find the solution, copy it out in your notebook, and then try running it yourself. Make columns, write I, write J, write whatever other variables are, and run the loop like manually. Say, okay, the first time loop runs, I is 1, J is 1, and this happens. Second time the loop runs, I is 2, J's value is this, and the other value is this, and this happens. Once you start doing it, you will understand how the loop is working, and then you'll be easily be able to do it. Now, okay, both of these problems are done. So I'll move on to arrays. We'll quickly go over arrays. And so we've seen array before. We've seen array. This is an array. Okay. This is also an array. This symbol is used to, uh, display that the variable is going to be an array. Now, what does an array do? Arrays are same as those you have in mathematics. You have arrays and matrices. If you guys had maths, if you've done it, you might know. Uh, it's a sequential collection of data, but the data it stores in the memory. It like takes a row kind of thing and stores whatever data you give one after the another. Okay, in the memory now, whatever data is in an array stored one after the another, but all the data should have the same data type. You cannot have in an array, you cannot store like one and then store someone's name and then store something else. If it is an integer array, all the elements should be integer. If it's string, all should be string. Alright, so it is used to store data in a row, one after the another, and it also has numbers. Like all the elements are numbered from 0 till the last index. These are called the indexes. And the length, it's same as string. How in string it starts from 0 to goes till the last element, but the length is starts from 1. So length of this array is 10, but the indexes are from 0 to 9. Okay, and then you have individual elements. Why this is used? First of all, it makes data, if you want to store, similar kind of data, it makes storing it easier. It stores it at one place, so fetching it back, getting that data back from memory is faster. You can apply sorting. You can sort the data. Let's say you have an array of numbers, you can sort it and arrange it either ascending order or descending order. You can do searching. If you, let's say you're making a project, you need to make a search bar, so that's where you will be using an array. An array will have, all the names, and then you can search that array for whatever the user wants. And as soon as you find that element, you can display it. So if you want to search something, you use an array. If you want to sort data in ascending, descending some order, use an array. And even like other things, we'll see them. So arrays can be one dimensional, which is a single this kind of array. This is a one dimensional array. You can have multi-dimensional array, which is similar to matrix. Like matrices you have in maths, there's rows and there's columns. There are those kind of arrays too. So first you'll be seeing your single dimensional arrays. This is what I prefer to write. You just declare it. You write the data type. Let's say it's int. You give it a name and then you put these two brackets. That's like you've declared an array, but it's empty right now. It's completely null. And then we've done it that way. There's no need. Then you can give it value. See, this is how you write it. You write int a. This is the name of your array a, and you write equals to new int 5. Now new is a keyword. This I declare it. It will declare an array of size 5, of length 5 in the memory. So in the memory, 5 consecutive memory blocks would be reserved for this A array. 5 memory blocks, which are one after the another, consecutive blocks will be reserved for this array A, which, because you gave it a length 5. New is a keyword that we use. Let's quickly show you the new keyword to Java. It is used to create an instance of the class. Other words, instantiates a class by allocating memory for a project. So it's just used to, if you have a class and you want to instantiate it, you use this. So over here, we are just using it to create a memory location of 5 consecutive memory blocks in the memory. And then this is how you can store individual elements like this. A of 0 is equals to this, a of 1 is equals to this, and then you keep on storing it. You use loops to print the data out. You can run a loop and make it like a of I. So a of 0, a of 1, a of 2. I'll write a program and show you right now, don't worry. And you can even use it this way. Okay. um okay, fine. So let's say I'm getting rid of this. I hope nobody wants to take a screenshot of something. If you want, take it right now, and then I'm removing it.
Done, ma'am.
Okay. Now let's try making an array. So for declaring it, let's make an array of integers. We'll write int, give an array a name. Let's name it array. And then you put these two brackets. That means this is an array. This is the name of the array, and the brackets show these box bracket that this is going to be an array. Is equals to new array, oh, new int of, let's say, 3. This will make an array of size 3. Okay, and now we want to store values in this, so we can write array of 0 is equals to, let's say, 10, and then we have array of 1 is equals to 13, and we have array of 2 is equals to 15. Now you guys notice that the length is 3 and your indexes are from 0, 1, 2 till 2. They start from 0 and at 2. Those are three elements, but they're numbered 0, 1, 2. And over here you give the length, which is 3. Okay, now let's try printing it. For printing it, we use a for loop. We say int I equals to 0. This should be 0 because the first index is 0, right? And then you have I is less than equal to, let's say, array dot length. Okay, you can use this to get length. With strings, we use length and then we put these brackets. That is for string. For arrays, the brackets are not there. Just array dot length and it will give you the length of the array. And then you write I plus plus and then we just system dot out dot print and then we write array of I. This should not be equal to. This should be less than 3 because this will give 3 and we just have 0, 1, 2. We don't have 3 over there. See, we got these elements. Keep in mind again, even I made the mistake. The length is 3, but the indexes are from 0 to 2. So it should be less than the length. Okay? Or it can be less than equal to length minus 1, however you like. Now there's another way of storing elements. You can store them like this, or let's try making another array. Let's make an array of type string, okay? Let's make string and take names and then we write equals to and you put these brackets and then you start writing the values. Okay, let's try let's write John and then like Mike and then like Walter and Jake. Okay, so what's the difference is over here you first made an array of size 3 and then you started storing elements in it, so you can store only 3 elements, right? And over here we made an array, and for being array this is what should be there. We made an array and then we stored data directly in it, so we did not give it a length. It will automatically make take the space of whatever, how many elements are stored over here. It will not first over here, it's first making a space of 3 elements and then it's storing those elements in there. Here it will keep, if there's only one element it will take only one space, if there's two it will take two, so it will adjust accordingly. The length is not predefined. Over here we are already like predefining the length. Hope you're understanding, and this is where even this comes in handy. So we just write name and we will get the length of this, and then we change this to name. See, we got the name. So did you guys get the difference? Over here we first made a space of 3, you know for 3 items in the memory location, and over here we did not declare the space before. We just gave it some value and then it will automatically take whatever space is needed. So I hope you understood. Is anybody confused over here? Do you want to ask something till here? Is it clear? Okay. So there's another way of there you go. there's this for each loop. Okay, so we can also print Java array using the for each loop. Now, when can we use the for each loop instead of for loop is when there's like array or there are like strings where the data is sequentially stored. Even in strings, all the alphabets are stored one after the another, all the characters, they are not stored like one in some place, the other one another place. When there's sequentially stored data, you can use this for each loop, and how you write it is you do, let me show it over here. So you will write colon and then you can write name. Just a second, one second, yes. So you give the data type. First you just like how you declare I, you do the I, and then you give the name of the array or the string you want to go through. Okay, and then it will just print all the values from this array or from this string. You cannot do this. Okay, over here we can define which element we want, but over here we cannot. We just have to print I don't really prefer using the for each loop because you get very less control. It just works on its own. I'll tell you once. Okay, this needs to be string. See, now what happens with the for loop is that you run the for loop for the index number and then you write array of 0, like print array of 0, print array of 1, print array of 2. Right? But in the for each loop, you do not run the loop for index number. You take a variable which will store these values. So string I will first have the value John and then it will print John. The next time it will have the value Mike, it will print Mike, and it will have Walter, print Walter. So you, with the for each loop, you will only be getting all the values one after the another. You cannot get John first and then get the last one and then get some another. You can do that with the for loop if you change the index number accordingly. If you, instead of doing I plus plus, you do I plus 2, so you will be getting every alternate values. With the for each loop, you will only be getting all the values in one order. So that's why it is very limited. And then, but if you need to get values that way, you can use it for sure. I do not prefer it. You can do the same thing with the for loop, the normal for loop, so you can even go for that. But how the for each loop works, you can use it only for arrays and strings. Okay, like for now you need to know. So you give it a variable, and this data type of the variable should be same data type as your array. In for we take int because you're working with numbers. I hope it's not making getting more confusing. I'll share the documents with you and then you can documentation, you can go over it and read it. It's not that confusing. Once you'll think about it, you'll get it better. So the data type of this should be same as your array, and then you give that data type, put a colon, not a semicolon, and write the name of the array, and then you print this I. Now this I will have the all the values of the array. It doesn't have a number, it just have whatever the value is inside the array. This is how you can use for each loop. I hope this is clear. um yeah, that's fine. Anonymous arrays, we'll leave that for now. It doesn't. Now for multi-dimensional arrays, it's the same. It has two numbers over here. Okay, for a one-dimensional array, you put one bracket. Multi-dimensional, you have two brackets. The first one is your rows, and the second one is your columns. The first one is the row, and second one is the column. So you write array 0 of 0 is like the 0 row 0 column position, which is like the first one. The 0 1 will be, let me show you over here. So if this is your multi-dimensional array, 0 0 is this is 0 1 0 2 0 3 0 4, Then this is 1 0 1 1 1 2 1 3. Are you understanding? Rows are from 0 1 2 3. Columns are 0 1 2 3 4 5 6, whatever. So the first number is your rows and the second one is your column, and then rest everything is the same. You can make a multi-dimensional array like this. Let's say you want to have a multi-dimensional array, you can write int b, let's say, is equals to, give a bracket, and then you make another bracket and then you write values. So um let me do this one, 2 3 4. All right, so this is like your first row and this is your second row. So your first row has this data, your second row has this data. And if the first one has three values, the second one needs to have three values. I hope you already understand it, like how a matrix works. It should be like a box. So if the first one you're giving three values, the second one you give three values again. So this is your row one, this is your row two, and then you can have row three. For printing it again, you just use your for loops. The first for loop is for your rows. Int, let's say I, let's say j equals to 0, j is less than, wait, you have two rows, right? First one is the rows and second one is your columns. For int k equals to 0, k is less than 3 rows and columns, and then you do system dot out dot print. You write b rows, which is j, and then k is giving your columns, so you write that, and then you change the line. Let's try running it. See, this is, you got it over here. Can you see this? This was your matrix. So the first, this is your first row and this is your second row. That's how it got displayed. It's the same way how you're printing your patterns is how you print your multi-dimensional arrays. The first is your first one is the number of rows. So it should, somebody, oh, you want me to zoom the screen? Okay, try, you guys, if you want something like speak, like unmute yourself and speak. Usually, like sometimes I don't see the messages. I'm focused on typing. So yeah, the first one is your rows and the second one is your columns. So this should run from 0 till the number of rows and from 0 till the number of columns. And then you write print your array name, rows, columns. So J was your rows and K was your columns. And then we just changed. This is only for formatting. You print, one column for like all the columns, and then you change your row and then print all the columns. So I hope that is clear. Anybody wants to ask something? It's already 6, so then we'll end the class. And tomorrow, hopefully, we'll start working on the something like building some project kind of thing. But before that, again, I'm saying I want you all to go over the basic stuff once yourself, revise, because otherwise you will be facing problems later. All right. Anybody wants to ask something?
No.
Okay. So then let's just end the session. You all can start leaving.